Okay, welcome back, guys. And in today's video, we're gonna see more about the authentication, authorization. What is the difference between these things? What are the different ways of authentication? How the APIs can, communicate with each other, right? So these are all some of the important things, right? So why I've been postponing this for a very long time? Because there is a reason behind this. Okay, when I start to in my previous sessions I used to take this way before, but it was not a good approach, I think, and people get confused with that. So now we have a very good understanding of Postman, SOAP UI, as well as rest assured. Now you should be in a position to understand this very easily, right? um yeah, so first we'll take a very simple diagram, okay, and we'll try to understand what is authorization and authentication. Okay, authentication versus authorization. Okay, this is a very important question that they may ask you in an interview. Okay, so anyone knows what is the difference between these two? So suppose, let's say you are running some e-commerce portal or something. Okay, user enters the username, password, and then logs into the application. You are validating whether this user is a valid user or not. Okay, then okay, let's say you are running Amazon. Okay, you are checking whether he is a valid user or not. This is called authentication. But what is authorization? Okay, some specific access. Suppose you have a Amazon Prime. Okay, then you are authorized to do something extra. Okay, than others, right? So this authorize, you're having some extra privileges. Okay, that's called as authorization. Okay, okay, how can we even understand this further? Okay, let's say you go to a hotel. Okay, you go to your hotel with your car keys, right? So imagine you go to your hotel with your car keys and other stuff. Okay, this is you. Okay, okay, let's assume this is you. Okay, um, okay, you go to a hotel with your car key, and this is a 5-star hotel, and what people do, they normally give their keys to a valet who comes, picks your car and does the parking for you. And then while going, when you come back to the entrance, okay, they will bring back the car to you, and then you take it and come out, right? Most of the cars comes with the valet keys. Okay, you guys know there is a main key. Okay, there is a main key which can do all the things. Okay, which can open your petrol tank, which can access your trunk, all those things. Okay, it can you can also start and stop the car using the main key. You can do all the things. But there is the, people can also offer you valet key. Okay, which can only start and stop the car. Okay, stop the car. Okay, this is because it is with rest privileges. Okay, the valet key is not authorized to do any of the other things. Okay, so this is what authentication and authorization is. Authorization is something that you do on someone else's behalf, and you have more or less privileges. Okay, sometimes you may have more privileges and sometimes you have less privileges, but you do mostly on behalf of others. Okay, still you don't understand. Okay, let's assume I want to create a new LinkedIn account. Okay, a LinkedIn sign up. Okay, so if you notice, I'm trying to create a LinkedIn account, but it is already telling, hey, are you want to join with Google? Okay, so if you already have a Google account, I can interact with Google and then get some details and create the LinkedIn account for you. You don't have to do a lot of work, right? That's what it's telling. So when I click on this, okay, if you notice, this is basically OAuth version 2. And who is the client? Client ID is your LinkedIn. Okay, and what is trying to access? Okay, what is the scope it wants? Okay, all these things are basically happening at the background. Okay, these are all you know um, let's create one more paint, and don't save this. Okay, and if you notice, this is your LinkedIn, and this is your Gmail. Okay, and this is us, this is the user. Okay, so let's assume this is the user. I went to LinkedIn, I asked it to create a, a account for me. Okay, what it tells, okay, you have two options. So one, you type everything manually, you may have to spend 15 minutes, or I also can approach Gmail so that I can get your details from Gmail and create the account within 2 minutes for you. Okay, user thinks, okay, that's fine, but I cannot give you my Gmail, email ID and password. That is not possible, right? I cannot give email ID or password. That is not email ID or password is not possible. Okay, so then how will you do it? Okay, okay, I go to Gmail. I'll tell, hey, there is this user whose email ID is this, and he wants to access. I want to access certain information like his personal, email address, maybe some details about him, maybe the date of birth, maybe the current phone number, and where the location he lives in. Okay, I need to get these kind of information. So that particular thing is called a scope. Okay, we'll come to OAuth later, but for now, just understand, LinkedIn is trying to do something on behalf of the user. Okay, and this time it only wants, not, it doesn't want to send an email, it doesn't want to read its inbox messages, it doesn't want to know all the contacts. All it was interested is to get few information, maybe the email address, the date of birth, and some few other information, right? So I'm telling, the scope is now read scope. I want to read only few information, read scope with a few uh, important information. Okay, important, sorry guys, there's a typo. Okay, important information. Okay, so this is called a scope. Okay, LinkedIn tell, okay, I want to access this, then Gmail will come to this user. Okay, now if you notice, Gmail has come to us. This is Gmail is coming to us and asking us, put your email in. Okay, once you put your email in, I will click on next. Okay, then it will try to authorize. Okay, okay, this user is okay to share the details that is required by LinkedIn, so I can provide those details. Okay, so that's what is happening at the background. Okay, these are all things. Okay, to quickly understand. Okay, um, LinkedIn is doing certain work on behalf of the user. That's basically to read an information from the Gmail. Okay, but user has to provide the access to Gmail. Once this guy user provides the access to Gmail. Okay, share my these details to the LinkedIn. Okay, then Gmail will share it to this guy. Okay, this is called as a OAuth process, but we will come to OAuth separately. But for now, understand, authorization is all about web services trying to interact with each other on behalf of someone else. Okay, with less or more scope. Okay, sometimes the access is privilege, less, like in this case, it only want to read certain metadata information from the account, and sometimes it can be more as well. Okay, in case of admin or something like that, it can be more as well. Okay, so this is authorization. Authentication is very very simple. You authenticate whether a user is valid user or not. That's it. Okay, so let me close all these things. And now there are different ways of doing authentication. Okay, so let's do there are different ways. Okay, for first among them is basic authentication. Okay, second, I'm only covering the top priority ones because this is what used in all the companies. Okay, what to. Okay, so these are all the three things that are widely used. Okay, in case of web services to authenticate services. Okay, we want to use only these. People are predominantly using this. Some people may still use OAuth 1, but everyone is almost using OAuth 2 and basic and bearer token. So these are all the things that are people are using widely. We'll see how to use these kind of things. Basic auth is very simple, guys. Okay, you enter a username and password, that's it. Okay, it will validate it for you. Okay, let's try to understand and do it. Okay, I will share you one link. Okay, in that link, so this is basically a link. Okay, I'll share that in while sharing the video as well. this is a place where Postman have kept lot of collections for us to practice. Okay, one such collection is Postman Echo. Okay, if you notice, it has different methods. Okay, basic auth, digest auth, hawk auth, OAuth one. But we are not going to see all this because not at all used, guys. So it is not at all needed. Okay, but if you notice in basic auth, it has some things to do basic auth. Okay, so I want to use this collection. So what you can do, you can click on the three dots. Okay, create a fork, which means in GitHub we will create a fork, right? So it will download that project into our GitHub account. The same way, if you create a fork, okay, if you create a fork, it will create a folder collection inside your account. Okay, so just make sure you click on that and you see this. For now, maybe I'll also import one more collection so that you can know how this is happening. Maybe I'll download this Postman API, click on this three dots, create a fork. So now it is asking what is the label you want to give. Okay, here if you notice, the Postman Echo is it's a label, the name of the collection. Okay, basically. So maybe I can Postman practice, something like this, where you want to, if you have multiple workspace, where you want to do it. And this is my demo workspace, so I can choose the workspace as demo workspace and click on fork collection. Okay, okay, the fork is created. If you see the success message, you can also download any of these things. And then, so this is the web version of the Postman. I don't want to mess with this. Let's close this and go to this particular thing. Okay, now if you notice, this one should have downloaded the Postman API for me. So if you notice, this is a Postman API, but the name what I have given is Postman practice, and it has downloaded the collection into my workspace. Now I can play around with this. Now we'll come to this Postman collection later, but there is Postman Echo where I have basic authentication. Okay, let's click on this and see what is happening. Okay, so I'm trying to make a call to this postmanecho.com/basic auth. Okay, this is a dummy API to explain you guys about basic auth. Okay, if there is an application that uses basic auth, you can use like this. Okay, good. So this is the endpoint they have created. Okay, and what they are telling, if you want to do a basic authentication, go and enter the username and password. See, they already hard coded it. So in the authorization tab, choose the one. There are different ways, but choose the one that is basic auth and give the username as Postman and password as a password, I think. Okay, once you give this, okay, if you hit on send, this is one way of authentication. So you enter an username and password. This is authenticated as true. So what is happening when you added this username and password? This authorization tab is not even a part of your okay. Okay, let me again break it down into simple things. Okay, authorization tab, whatever you add it in the authorization tab, okay, will be converted to header. Okay, because authorization tab is just a Postman thing. Okay, it is not related to your API call itself. Authorization is a tab that helps you to construct this authorization very easily. Okay, if you type the username and password, what is happening in the headers tab, once you added it, there is a authorization key header, and the value is basic. And then this, what is this? Something I don't understand this. Okay, let's go here and type base 64 encode online. Okay, to use this, so let's type the username and password here. The username is Postman password. Okay, this is the username and password. When I try to encode this, okay, if you notice, this is the value that I'm getting. Okay, if you notice this, these two are almost same. Okay, if you copy and do a comparison here, both are same. So what Postman is doing for you, when you add the username and password here, it is constructing you the header automatically with the key as authorization and the value as basic space, and then the encoded value of username colon string or username colon password. Okay, guys, can you understand what I'm saying? Can you understand? Can you follow me?
Yes, Samudra.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
Samudra.
Good. So So basically it does is, if you, it creates a header for you with the key as authorization, and the value is basically basic space, and then username colon password encoded. Okay, it's encoded using base64, base64 encoding, base64 encoding of username password. Okay, so this is what it is doing. So you can also, instead of using this tab, what you can do, uh, instead of using that tab, authorization tab, I'm not using this anymore. Okay, let me change it to no auth. Now if you notice, the authorization header is gone. Now you can also go here, type manually authorization basic, okay, and then space, whatever the encoding we have generated, copy it, come here, paste it, okay, give a space, now click on send. Now it is also working, because all the authorization the app is doing is basically creating a header for you, okay, based on the format. Okay, let's try to do this in case of rest issue. Okay, maybe I don't want to touch the automation framework for now. Maybe, okay, let's work with it. You say that maybe I create a new one called as the demo. Okay, okay, now we have basic auth, and first of all we need to do the static imports. Okay, so import static io.rest assured, yeah, and once this is done, you give given. Okay, so there are multiple ways to do the basic auth, right? Given dot. So first I want to do authentication. Okay, what sort of authentication? You have a lot of authentication here. Give me the username and password. Username is Postman, password is password. Okay, now previously Postman does the conversion of converting your username password to a header of key as this and value as this. Now rest assured is doing that for you. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, or not. And then I want to log all the information. Okay, dot all. Okay, and I want to make a get call to this particular endpoint. Okay, once you do this, I also want to do whatever I want to see the response. Okay, maybe response dot pretty print. Okay, let's try to run it and then see what's happening. So if you notice, we are making a get call to this endpoint. Okay, all good. And if you notice, this is getting passed. Okay, so whatever the value that we have sent is actually getting passed. Okay, maybe it's not showing you that it is passing as a header here, but you can also, instead of doing auth, okay, instead of doing like this, okay, you can do header. And what is a header name? So header name is authorization. Okay, and then comma, and the value is basically this. Okay, you can also do like this. Okay, okay, now this is also getting passed. So either you use the already given authorization tabs in Postman, or the auth method in rest assured, all you know, it will convert it for you, or you can directly pass it as a header. Okay, this is a good thing. But if you notice, we are sending the password and username here. Okay, is there any way that I can hide this? Okay, um, there is a way to do this. Okay, you can blacklist certain information that you think is suppose anyone can decode this and then understand the information. So you don't want to log this in the console like this. Okay, you don't want to do the logging here. Okay, then there is a way to block this. I am sure this is under lock config, and lock config, no, no, config, issue log config, and this is okay, I'll tell you guys. I don't know how to do this. Maybe you can also Google it. We call it as blacklisting certain headers. Okay, uh, but I'll cover this tomorrow. Okay, blacklist, so that it won't log that information. Blacklist headers. Okay, I forgot the syntax. Okay, maybe yeah, but all I want to cover is basic authentication for now. I'm sure you guys should have understand this. Any doubts in this basic auth?
No.
No.
No, right? So it's a very simple one. Okay, now let's use this basic auth and then let's create something. Okay, Postman. Okay, we can also create Postman collections in Postman, workspaces in Postman, everything, right? Suppose I want to create a new workspace. What we do, we create new workspace and then we'll give the name. So we create a new workspace. Let's say a new workspace created to showcase auth. Okay, something like this, and then you can add someone and then click on create workspace. Okay, now you have created a new workspace. Now you can go to the old workspace and then you can, now I go to the old workspace. You can also delete this existing new one that I created. Okay, right click here, click on delete. Okay, you can delete this, create a newly created one. Okay, this one, whatever we have done through UI, basically we can do this via API calls. Okay, let's see how can we do this. Let's go to the Postman API, workspaces. Okay, if you notice, we want to get all the workspaces. Okay, this is an API. What are they are telling? Okay, so if you notice, they are telling in the authorization tab, okay, they are not using basic auth. This time they are telling X API key. You pass me a key that is having your Postman API key. Okay, this is a beer token, something kind of that. Okay, and once you do this, I will get all the information for you. Let's try to send it and see what's happening. See, it's telling invalid API key. Every request requires a valid API key to be sent. This is unauthorized, so you have to give. So this is basically in your collection level variable. Okay, if you not hover your mouse over this, it is selling C, which means it's a collection level variable. Okay, go to the collection level variable here, variables, and if you notice, there is a variable here, but with this without any value. Now all your job is to get a particular key for you and then put it here. So when I do this, right hand side there is a documentation tab that shows up, and then it's telling you need a valid key to send the request to the API endpoints. You can get your key from the integration dashboard. The API has access rate limit, all these things are good, but it is notice you can get your key from the integration dashboard. Okay, click on that. I'm going to get a key to interact with my Postman. Okay, so see, generate API key. Name of the key is demo key. Okay, generate API key. So now be sure to copy this key. This is the only time you will be able to see it unencrypted. Okay, copy this, or you can copy this clipboard using this. Okay, once you do this, let's open Notepad++. Let's me store somewhere. Okay, okay, and once you do this, let's go to the Postman. Now we have got the Postman key. Okay, put it in the current value. Okay, and that's all. Once you do this, save this collection. Now let's go to the this particular endpoint, and let's try to see. If I hover my mouse over this, the current value is actually my Postman key. Okay, now let's send it, and if you notice, it is bringing me all the workspaces that I have. Okay, these are all the list of workspaces that I currently have: demo workspace, my workspace, training workspace, and team workspace. Same thing, demo, my workspace, training workspace, team workspace. Everything is getting listed automatically. It can understand Amudan is the one who is calling based on the unique Postman key. Okay, in your case, if you attach your key, it will basically populate all the workspaces that you have. Okay, what else we can play around? Go to collection, you can get all the collection. For getting the collection, let's go to the header. Header is done. Do you need to send anything for? Okay, let's try to hit on send. So if you notice, there are a lot of collection in your case. Maybe the Postman API, you have something called as Postman API. You have monitoring a collection. You have, okay, maybe it may be available in the different workspace or this workspace, anything. Okay, so when it was created, whether it is public, all this, okay, JSON server, documenting an API, all these are basically collections in your workspace. Okay, so it will display all the collections from all my workspaces. Okay, not only from this workspace. Okay, so yeah, basically you can play around with these APIs. Okay, now let's try to do this same thing. Okay, with the help of rest assured. Okay, we actually fetched all the workspace, right? So let's also fetch this information from the rest assured. Let's see how we can do this. Okay, let's go to the rest assured. Does anyone wants to try this? Anyone wants to try this? Shailesh, do you want to try? Get all workspace. Whatever we have done here, okay, that all workspaces, we need to do the same scenario with rest assured. Hello.
Yeah, Mudan, let me try.
Okay, just try it.
Yeah.
Let's start with given, and
then in header we will pass that information, that API
yeah,
key.
header. So header key is basically we can get it from here. Okay, this is the important header. Okay, let's go here, and this is the header, and okay, and let's go there. Fetch this Postman key. Okay, I cannot fetch it from there, so copy it, and header is passed. And then if you want to log all the information, log it all dot get. I want to make a get call to which endpoint. So this is the endpoint. Okay, copy it and post. Okay, once you do this, okay, you can also see the pretty print. Okay, that's it. Okay, now let's try to run the test and see what's happening. If you notice, the API key is what we have passed, and we are getting all the responses back as well. Okay, so this is how we can play around. Okay, you can convert API that is available on the Postman to a rest assured code. Okay, all these things are very simple, guys. Just go take it step by step, and then you should be in a position to do it. Okay, the same way we can also create a new collection. Suppose I want to make a post. I want to create a new collection. Okay, there is nothing here apart from this. We want to add the Postman key, and then content type is application JSON. These are the two headers that we need. And in the body, you notice, guys, please go on mute if you've done. Okay, so here, this is the body that we have. Okay, this looks a little big. Okay, it is telling, it is already picking the sample connection random, some random integer, and it's trying to create a new collection every time. So let's click on. So once you click it, so there is a new collection that is created, that is called sample collection 122, and okay, it will be available inside your collections. Okay, maybe this may not be available here in my workspace. Maybe in the, I have multiple workspaces, so it may be available in any one of them. Okay, but if you notice, the ID and everything is getting displayed the same way. Okay, I can actually use this in your IntelliJ, sorry, the rest assured, and then you can try to create a collection. Again, if you notice, what sort of approach you will use, okay, to create a collection? Any idea from your side? We have multiple ways to generate the request, right? What way you will follow for this?
Pojo.
Okay, Pojo, you can follow.
Pojo,
Okay, but why do you want to follow Pojo?
it will be very difficult to create Pojo for this kind of complex request.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you well.
I was telling, like, I think it will be very difficult to create Pojo for this kind of complex request. We can
Yes,
use external file.
yeah, we can use external file, and then we read them as a string and then replace this particular name alone. Okay, because that's the one that we want, right? Then we want to change. Then since the number of changes in the request body is very less, so the approach would be keep the template in the external file, read it as a string that we have already created an utility for reading it as a string, replace them with a random value or whatever the value you want, and then hit the request. So that would be the best approach, right? Because you can also use Pojo. I'm not blaming you, but it may take a lot of time to create a Pojo. Okay, see, there are a number of classes inside this. Okay, and the number of parameters that is changing is one or two. Okay, so in this case, Pojo may not be a best approach, but still, if you want, you can also create it and use it. Okay, so now we have almost done with the Postman API. Okay, you can play around with this Postman API, guys. That's almost everything. You can create a collection, you can update a collection, you can delete a collection. Okay, all these things you can do the same way. You can create environments using API calls, you can create monitors, mocks using API calls, you can create workspaces using API calls, or everything you can do with the help of API calls. Just fork this particular thing into a Postman workspace and then start using it, and try to use this in the Postman as well as convert that into a the rest assured code as well. Okay, now we have learned. See, this is basic authentication, but if you notice, this Postman guys have used something in the header level, and this, like, you pass a key to it and then it will work. Okay, they're asking you to pass the header, value, key as this and value as this. Okay, if they are asking, okay, do it. Okay, it's kind of a token that actually indicates that who is the author who is trying to access this. Okay, they have some encryption logic behind this. We all don't have to worry about it, but for now they are asking like this, so we are passing it. Okay, and now let's also do one more thing. Okay, how many of you have worked with GitHub? Almost everyone would have done, right? So you can also create repositories and everything using API calls. Okay, this is my repository, and you can also generate your if you don't have a.
Amuthan, one question before proceeding to the GitHub part.
Okay,
We have passed as a like a header, the
yeah,
last API key thing.
yeah.
Can we pass it as a authorization as well?
No, we cannot pass it as
Or
authorization, because in Postman also they didn't pass it as, because that is not a basic auth. Okay, whatever they have used, they just directly used it as a header. Okay, but in the previous case, in the basic auth, okay, basic auth, you have a option here. Okay, so that
we
will
have
actually
option for
convert your
API key as well there.
sorry.
We have option for API key as well there. I think they have not
API
passed it.
key, but the key is this. Let's you can try to do it. Okay, let's say API key is basically. Let's try to do it, but you know but whatever you are doing in the authorization tab is basically will convert that into a header. Okay, so basically you can directly put it as a header. Okay, I don't think you have that option here. Okay, let's try to check given dot auth. Okay, I don't know whether rest assured has API key, something like this. See, it doesn't have this option. Okay, so this is not an option that is used widely, so you have to rely on sending it as a header value. Okay, maybe in Postman you have that option, but yeah, here you more not be. So this is a key, and the value is basically coming from my collection. So what is the name of
Yeah, Amuthan,
that?
got it.
It's basically Postman underscore AP. I cannot find it. Postman API. Okay, this is in the basic auth.
That is
Okay,
in a different collection.
yeah. Just don't save this, and let's go here. Remove this. Go to the authorization tab, API key. Yeah, it is actually doing that. So let's try to send. Yeah, it is creating it for you. So you can also put this API key here, but it is not widely used at all. So you can directly, because other clients, see, Postman is a client. Okay, same way SOAP UI is also a client. Okay, SOAP UI definitely will not have this thing. Okay, I'm pretty sure about it. So in all those cases, you can use header only for high level like bearer token, and then for basic auth they may have the options to directly use this. But in Postman you have this, but in rest assured you don't have. So you have to convert it to header by yourself. Okay, good. So that's all from this one. So let me not save this. And also, okay, let's go to GitHub. So suppose we have created a lot of code, right? We want to share it to GitHub. Okay, this ID is they have the inbuilt capabilities to create a project, push to GitHub. How they are doing all these things? Okay, how they are able to create a repository? Okay, for us, how they are able to do it? So it all based on this authentication, guys. Okay, so go to your GitHub. Okay, go to the settings, and then you can go to the developer settings maybe. And here, if you notice, personal access token. Okay, you can use this personal access token. You can also generate a new one. Okay, suppose I want to generate a new one. Okay, just confirming for the password. Let me enter the password here. Okay, so how many days you want the expiry? Maybe I want the expiry for 7 days. Okay, and what sort of scope you want to give? See, this is clearly telling. Okay, note this is for training purpose. Okay, the name of this training, and you select the scope. What sort of access you want to give for this particular access token? Okay, do you want to okay, I want to deal with all the repositories, which means I can create a repository, delete a repository, all those things. Okay, access deployment status, access public repository, access repository invitations, read and write security events. Okay, maybe I don't want this. Okay, in those cases you can choose it. Okay, maybe you can choose like this. I want to only give this many access. Okay, and you can also see the other ones. Okay, if you think these are all relevant, you can choose them, but for now I'm not interested in all those stuff. Suppose you want the delete repository access, you can also choose this, but for now I'm not doing it. Maybe I just want to just get all the public repositories in my GitHub account. Okay, I just want only that particular access. Okay, then you can anything else. Okay, I'll generate the token. Okay, this is the one. So now it has generated a token for me. Just I'll copy it and I'll keep it somewhere here. And now let's try to, I don't know which endpoint that I need to hit. I don't know what is the, if you want to send a request, what are all things you need an endpoint. What are the other headers you want to pass? Okay, for get calls maybe this is sufficient. Okay, in authorization, how should I pass this access token? Okay, I don't know all these things. Okay, then how will you learn it? Okay, every company will have their own API documentation. So let's use a GitHub REST API API docs documentation, something like that. Okay, we have to go read their documentation and understand it. Okay, now if we go to we are here. Okay, REST API overview. Let's click on this. So all the things are good. I want to work with, if you want to work with the organization, you can choose this, but I want to work with repositories. Okay, click on that. Okay, and one more thing. So GitHub may also support multiple ways of authentication. Okay, each company can support multiple ways of authentication so that the clients don't face any issues. Okay, suppose imagine you have make my trip. Make my trip is interacting with a lot of customers. Okay, for some customers they use basic, for some customers they use bearer token. Okay, based upon that they use it. And if you notice, it is actually giving me organization. So this is for a GitHub enterprise edition, so we don't want that. Maybe I'll go little down and list of repositories for an authentication user. Okay, use this. Now let's try to read. The authentication has explicit permission to access repositories they want, repositories where they are a collaborator, and repositories they can access through a organization membership. Okay, now it is telling make a get call to this endpoint. Okay, endpoint is okay, but I want to see what is the full address. Okay, maybe this is the base URI that I'm interested. Okay, let's copy this, create a new Maybe I'll create a new collection here itself. New collection and me rename it as to GitHub collection. Okay. And once in the GitHub collection, I want to create a request. Okay. This request is basically, this is just, stuff, and this is the endpoint, like /user/repos. Now I want to authenticate this, but without authentication, let me try to see. See, it doesn't know whose details you are requesting for. You are trying to get some information about some user details, but I don't know. You need to tell me who are you. Okay, this is the way we are asking who are you question, right? For that, authentication is the answer. You need to authenticate yourself, right? So now let's see what it is telling. Okay, it's telling you need to pass accept string, okay, in the header, and pass this value. Okay, it is recommended. Okay, this is not a mandatory one. And what else? You can also add query parameter. Maybe you want to all or public or private. And there is a affiliations type string, and this is also query parameter, which can, whether you want to check whether you are only a owner for this. You want to pick only the repositories where you are owner. You want to pick only the repository that you are collaborator. Okay, so those kind of thing. Okay, so type, and this is you can also pass type, and this is a query parameter. You can add it as a query parameter. And okay, based on this, okay, you want to sort based on the created date, updated date. Okay, all these things. Okay, you have to go on through the information. They have basically given you some snippet. So if you notice, the hyphen h indicates header. In the header, you use this and use that. Okay, that is one thing they are asking. The headers, I gonna use whatever they are telling. So there is an accept. Okay, if you have already an accept thing, okay, just add this. Okay, this is what they are telling. Okay, we'll follow what they are telling. I'm not able to edit it, so let's create a one again and remove the space in. Okay, this is done. But how will I pass the key, the bearer token? Okay, the token that we have generated. Okay, so let's go here and click on the authorization tab. So there is a bearer token. In the bearer token, what are the token that we have copied? Okay, just pass this. That's it, guys. Now click on send. Now it is actually fetching me Amazon assignment. Okay, all these are assignments in my, all these are repositories in my stuff. Okay, APM training. Okay, all these are repositories in my stuff. So when I add a token in the authorization tab, what is happening? In the headers tab, it will create it for you. Okay, in the headers tab, it will create an authorization key, and value is bearer space and then your bearer token. Okay, so either you pass it from here or you choose no auth and come to header, create a new authorization stuff, and then add bearer, and then paste the value. Once you do it, click on send. You again will get all the information about your GitHub repositories. Okay, this looks really good, right? So we are able to access the information that we see in a GitHub page, actually in a using an API calls. Okay, so now they are telling something information. Okay, suppose you want visibility only, you want public or private, you can also do that. So, okay, they are telling it's a query parameter. If it's a query parameter, this is the key. Okay, this is the key, and what is the value? I want only the private repositories. I don't know whether I have private repositories. Let's see. So I don't have a private repository. All my repositories are public. Okay, so I can use public. Okay, and what else? They have something. Most of my things, I am the only owner, so I cannot get any information out of it. I'm just trying to sort. Okay, I'll try to sort based upon the created date. Okay, so yeah, so and so this is the second query parameter, and sort equal to, what is the second one? It's created, right? So based on the created date. Okay, if you notice, there will be something called as created here. Based upon that, it will try to sort it. Okay, I don't know, it's very big JSON, so very difficult to identify, but let's count sort equal to create. Okay, notice, I hope it got sorted, but yeah, can be one of the.
Yeah, in such cases where there are big JSON and to find values quickly, we can use JSON to table.com.
Yeah. We can use JSON formatter or viewer, or you can use JSON path directly to get the values. Yes.
Okay.
So again, if you want ascending order, descending order, you can also suppose I can use this, right? Per page default is 30, but I want don't to do that, or I want to only fetch the page number of the results to page or per page. Maybe I'll use per page and then see what's happening. I don't need this. Per page equal to 2. This time I'm only interested in 2. Maybe I only want 1. So this time, if you notice, I have filtered and the number of repositories that I got is just 1 because I used a query parameter, and this basically adds a query parameter symbol here, and then yeah, you can also construct this using rest assured. Okay, it's a very good scenario, right? Let's try to do it using rest assured. Maybe I'll add one more test, and this one I name it as public void get repositories. Now I will use given dot. Again, I don't have something called as bearer. Okay, so I cannot use it. So inside auth, I don't have something called as bearer. So I have to rely on directly passing the header value. So header value, the value is authorization. I don't know. Authorization, comma, bearer, space, and then the value. Okay, the value is basically this. Okay. Okay, log dot all, and I want to make a query parameter, right? So I can also include that query param. Okay, what are the query params I want? I don't need this because this is not doing any job for me. The visibility equal to, because all my things are anyways visible. So per underscore page, right? Per underscore page is basically 1. Okay, and I want to make a get call to this particular endpoint. What is that endpoint? Okay, okay, and I just want to do a pretty print of the response. Okay, okay. Again, you can store it as a response variable, and then you can do assertions based on your needs. But yeah, okay. So basically, we are getting all the information from here. Again, you can how to get a particular value using JSON bar. Suppose you want to assert this particular thing, you know how to do it. There is an array inside that, there is a JSON object. So or you can use online JSON path finder to fetch some values, and then you can iterate it. Okay, so yeah, this is how you can play around with GitHub APIs. Okay, you can also create a repository. Okay, it's not like you can only fetch the repository. You can also create the repository, but we need to go and understand their documentation. Okay, let's say I want to create a repository. Okay, click on this. So now they are telling you want to create a repository. Okay, for that, this is the endpoint. That is fine, but in the accept, use this. Okay, this is recommended to have. Okay, and then the name of the repository is a required parameter, which means in the body. Post means you have to pass that in the body, right? That is a required parameter. You have to definitely tell the name of the GitHub repository that you want to create. Description is not mandatory, so they haven't mentioned given a required here. It's a string type, short description of your repository, a home page URL with more information about the repository, whether you want a private or public one. If you want a private one, okay, give boolean as true. Okay, if it is you want a public one, give boolean as false. Okay, default will be false if you don't pass any values. Okay, and has issues. If you it has linked to any issues as a wiki, then you have to this just clearly telling you what kind of data type that is all about, and it is part of a body. Previously it is part of query parameter. Okay, if you notice very closely, last time these are all query parameters because those are all get requests, right? You can filter out only using the query parameters. You cannot send them in a body. Here it's a post request. You pass most of the information through the body and not to the parameters. Okay, so this is the API call. So if you notice the accept header, the call is post accept header, you have to pass this, and this is the endpoint, and hyphen D indicates this is the data. At least you need to have the name key and the value of the GitHub repository name. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's try to do it, and then let's see. First, let's do it via this. And let me also copy this first. Okay, till repositories. This is a post call. And suppose if you notice, there are certain things that are very common. One is the authorization, the headers, all these things are pretty common for all these things. Okay, maybe you can go to the collection level and then you can choose the bearer token, and you can give the token here. Okay, so that is bearer. So token, you can just give the token. The token is, so if you add it as a collection level, you don't have to add it to each of the individual requests. Okay, so I give it here. That's it. To save this. Okay, that's all. It will do everything for you. Now let's go and only worry about um, so let's only worry about the accept header.
Amutan,
Yeah,
Amutanu, one doubt, like mandatory to pass it as a bearer token only, like is it mentioned it as a bearer only
yeah, it would
in
have
this
read
token
somewhere.
or
Okay, maybe let's take this. They would have spoken about this authentication methods here. Okay, here what they have done. So that is the first way. You can use personal access token C, or you can use basic auth like username colon token. Okay, you can also use the token here, and then the basic auth is username. Okay, let's try to do it. We have already done the old way. So let's first remove the collection level authorization. Let's give it a no auth. Here the first way is bearer token, right? The second way they are telling you can also do basic authentication. The username is username and the password is your token. Okay, let's try to do it. First we can go here on basic auth, and the username, I don't know my username. Someone's give it. I don't know my username, but yeah, and then the token. Okay, and then let's try to get all the information about this. Okay, let's try to make a get call. So it is now fetching me all the information. So you can either use a bearer token or a basic auth. So that's what I told. Everything will support multiple ways. Okay, so you can also use the basic authentication. So anything that suits your needs, you can use it. But that is whatever the token that we generate normally, those are all called as bearer tokens. So you have to use it like that. Otherwise, you can also, this GitHub specifically supports basic authentication, but this is not a best approach. That's what they're telling. So you can also use it. Okay, we can also use like this. That's not a big deal. Okay, here also we are getting all the results. Okay, doubts? Any doubts? Okay, now guys, nothing guys. Okay, okay, if there is an application, there is an application. It may support multiple ways. Okay, it may support multiple ways of authentication. Multiple ways of authentication. You choose the one which you find very easy or comfortable. Okay, most of them are secured. Okay, don't worry about security, but OAuth, something that we're going to learn at the later point of time, is very secured. But these are also very secured. Okay, you can use bearer token or basic auth, no problem, anything is fine. Okay, you have to just go through their docs and see how we can make authentication calls. Okay, here they are clearly mentioned. So make a hyphen u indicates username. This is your username colon, and then the password is your token. The token is what we have generated now. Okay, yeah. Now let's go to the repositories back, and then we'll try to, okay, we have already here. I want to try to create a post request, and this is the one. Okay, let's try to create a repository, and then with that we can wrap this whole stuff. Okay, I want to make it as a post call. Authorization is already taken care of, but the accept tag is something that is worrying me. And here they are asking me to pass this value in the accept. Copy it. Okay, that's it. And yeah, now let's go to the body. Go to the raw. Sorry guys, JSON, and I need to tell the name, at least the name, right? So let's tell the name as dummy repo. Okay, something like this. This is the mandatory field. I'm entering that, but in your case, if you want more, you can also enter them. Okay, maybe you can tell it's a private. Okay, whether it is private or public. Private is basically Boolean, so I can tell true, which means it's a private repository. I can only do all the operations. Okay, let's try to see whether it can able to create it. You can also give your own description as well. So please go on mute. Okay, and description is, this is to demonstrate, I don't know what to tell, but yeah, so you have to write like this, and let's try to hit on send. We'll need a different Auth scope to create a private repository. Okay, please see the documentation for more details. Okay, so what are the access key that we have generated has only the read access, right? If you notice, when we generated that, we have only generated the read access. Okay, so if you want a different access, okay, whatever the token that you have doesn't have the access to create a private repository. It doesn't have the access. Maybe I'll try to create a public repository. Maybe now this is telling this, whatever the token you have generated has the access to create a public repository, but not the private repository. So this is the name that it has created. Let's go to the UI and check whether it is actually created that particular repository for me. Okay, let's try to see where is my repository. It should actually say repositories, and here it should basically, yeah, if you notice, updated 33 seconds ago, there is a dummy repository that is as created. Okay, using this way only, your IntelliJ Eclipse plugins can able to create a repository, push codes, pull codes, do all the things. Okay, they are internally making API calls. Okay, so that's what they are doing. Okay, yeah, that's all about it, guys. The same thing you can do with the help of rest assured as well. Okay, maybe that is your assignment. Try to create a new repository in GitHub using this rest assured. Okay, we already have the code and Postman. Okay, you can also pass, create it via rest assured. Okay, that's your assignment, guys. Okay, try to do the assignment, guys. I do. That is very important for you guys to get the confident while working with rest assured. Okay, good. We will see about the OAuth tomorrow. Yeah, any doubts you can ask me now. Any doubts?
Yeah. Can the key be any name or only XAPI key?
No, it can be only whatever they are defining. Okay, in the documentation they have clearly mentioned use that. Okay, let's go to the Postman API, go to the collections, and sorry, click on something. Authorization, maybe it didn't, where I found that they have clearly mentioned. Okay, any of these collection, go any of these, go to the headers, and if you notice the key, the name is X-API-key. This is the exact value that you have to use.
Okay, thank you.
Amithan, will you be explaining GraphQL?
GraphQL is not part of this course, man. Sorry. We're not covering that.
Okay.
When will be the next session?
When will be the next session? Tomorrow. Okay, we'll try because we are still lagging behind, guys. Okay, it's been already a very detailed course. It already took so much of time. Okay, yeah, I already have a Docker. I'll try to cover Spring Boot. So it's a very big course. So I have no other way. Okay. So anything from anyone else apart from this? Okay. The course name is create repo. Okay, you can say this. Any doubts, guys, apart from this? Okay, if there are no more doubts, I'll wrap my sessions today. And before tomorrow session, just do one thing. just download the Jira for Jira for Windows. So we will try to create a defect automatically when there is a failure. Okay, that is some use case that I could think about. We'll try to do it. Okay, even though everything remains the same, but let's do it. Okay, Jira software download. Okay, just to use this, and you may see like this. Okay, or you can directly tell just download. Okay. Yeah, so you have to click on that. Okay, so now the Jira is only available in data centers like AWS, Azure and other stuff. But if you want to download for your machine, okay, just click on this archive, old one. Okay, download the latest, get started, click on this, choose the operating system that you are interested in, and then click on agree button and then click on submit. Once you do this, it's a very simple installation process. I will also attach a file with today's video. So I have taken the screenshots of what are the options that you need to choose. Okay, where is that Jira installation? Jira, whatever. Okay, just a minute, guys. Okay, let me search for that Jira installation. Okay, so once you click double click on the exe file, it will ask you set it up for me or I'll set it up yourself. Maybe you can choose I set it up myself. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, but just choose the set it up for me, so it will do most of the connection automatically. And then now here also, if you notice, it will ask you to log in to continue to wear Atlassian, enter your email. But if you don't have the email, right here it is giving you option continue with Google, Microsoft, Apple account, continue with your Slack account. What is this? Suppose if I click on Google, it will take me to a page where it is telling Auth 2. So basically this is internally using an authorization mechanism of Auth 2. It'll request your Gmail for certain information and you can approve that. Okay, and in the next page it will ask you create your own account. Okay, it will pre-populate with your email address, full name, all of the stuff. Okay, and then it will generate a license key for you, and yeah, it will actually create your admin account. You can give your email, username, password. Don't forget this username and password. This will be completely needed if you want to do make API calls. Okay, when you're doing this administrator account setup, just make sure you copy and store this value somewhere. Okay, and then once you do with it, finishing your setup, that's all. It will be ready to go. Okay, and then from tomorrow we will see, you can choose the language, you can choose your avatar, and you can also click on see a project in action, so that you don't have to create everything already yourself. It will create a dummy project for you, so that we can go ahead and start creating issues. Okay, so you can just follow these steps and then install the Jira. Tomorrow we will try to make an API call and create some issues by going through the Jira documentation. Okay, that's all, guys. You all have a very good day. I'll upload this Word document also today with this video. Okay, that's all. Bye.
Thank you, Mudan.